This is Boxing Talk 8576. I'm doing some new things on my channel. Um, I'm going to start reading the comment section on some hot topics, and the hot topic that I'm going to read on today is a video that I did a couple days ago. Mayweather, is he the greatest fighter ever, or just a all-time great? And this topic has brought up a lot of comments, so I'm going to read some of them off. Blake 472, Roy Jones Jr. in his prime was way better and more dominant than Floyd. There's nothing Mayweather Jr. has done that all the other greats have done. He hasn't done anything special his whole career that was great. That was greater than all the fighters that you named. Great vid. I agree that Roy Jones in his prime was more dominant. I said in my video that Roy Jones barely lost a round, let alone a fight. I agree that he fought on way too long, but in his prime he was more dominant than Floyd Mayweather Jr. Blake 472, man, I agree with every single thing you said in this vid. Seriously, I'm sub. You broke it down to a T. I don't even have Floyd in my top 25 after doing years and years of research on a lot of great fighters that you named and thousands of hours and years of boxing. Mayweather isn't nowhere near the greatest. All I was trying to say in this video was, if you're a diehard Mayweather fan, if you think he's the greatest fighter ever, you have to do research. You have to look at other fighters and compare and contrast his style, his record, the opponents he fought, and things like that to say that he's the greatest ever. You just can't say he's the greatest ever, period. You have to have some research bagging what you claim. Buckshot Boxing. No, I think Floyd is the greatest of all times, except lame fight fans, but to keep bringing him up when he doesn't fight until May is hate, but not only hate, but a bit of propaganda. It's a generation thing, just like Robinson, Ali, Leonard, Roy, and Floyd. Every generation is going to rate their generation of the best of all of the era, the greatest of all times. That conversation, wisdom, and boxing, and that. So why carry on when there's so much more in boxing to carry on when he doesn't fight until May? This has nothing to do with propaganda and bashing Floyd Mayweather Jr. and saying, and what him fighting to May has to do with him, saying that he's the greatest fighter ever, or he's not the greatest fighter ever. It's just, I did a lot of research. I came up with my points and my opinions on why he's not the greatest ever. I didn't just say he's not the greatest ever and just leave it at that. Like a lot of hardcore Mayweather fans say he's the greatest ever and they leave it at that. I just brought up some points. This has nothing to do with him fighting in May and all that. But moving on. Happy Lloyd Type 0. Robinson was a lightweight when he turned pro. If there was a super feather division back then, it's possible he could have turned pro at super featherweight. Height doesn't make a frame. Robinson shoulders were narrow, very thin guy. Leonard was not much bigger than Floyd. Myth. In Mayweather's era, people turned pro light and moved up. Look at DHL. I guess he's the Oscar De La Hoya. They started the same place and he moved up to middleweight. Like I was saying, Mayweather can move up to middleweight. I know a lot of people say, oh, he's too small. He's not too small. And he say skills pay the bills. No one is saying he should move up to heavyweight. But he can move up to 160. He can possibly fight at 168. Maybe. He has to do something greater than the other all-time greats have done if you want to consider himself to be great. You can't limit him and say, oh, don't do that because you're not big enough, and oh, you are the greatest of all times, but you don't have to do great things. Rollo Jenkins. I've been telling folks all the time, let's not lower the standards for what great is. To include someone who's fighting nowadays, it's real talk. Rollo Jenkins. Why not is what this whole video was about. He gave reasons why not. If you are one who thinks Floyd is the greatest, why is that? He hit it right on the head. I gave reasons why he's not the greatest. If you think he's the greatest, give reasons why he's the greatest. Don't just say he's the greatest without giving reasons or saying those fighters back then in the black and white era sucked or all other fighters sucked. You have to give reasons. Have to give a lot of reasons. Buckshot boxing. Floyd dominated 130. He could have been the undisputed, but fighters didn't take the risk. Now I'm just saying, SRL Sugar Ray Leonard, it's 5'11". He went up to light heavyweight because his frame is that natural. Hearns and the frame of a heavyweight. Looks like weight height frame, and I'm 5'6", 230. It's athletic, but it don't matter. It's not ripped. High blood pressure. Why cause, I suppose, too, 150 pounds for my age. But Homicide Hank is the greatest. It's a good claim. Rant, but it's 32 minutes of discrediting a great fighter. Why Floyd? Why not Pac? Etc. That's because a lot of the Mayweather fans, I mean, it's some fans that saying Pacquiao is the greatest ever, but for the most part, a lot of the Mayweather fans are saying Mayweather is the greatest fighter ever. I'm just breaking it down, giving reasons. This is not a rant. It was never a rant. It was just giving reasons. And a lot of times, I think that's the new thing for Floyd Mayweather fans. Call it a rant when you going in on Floyd. Everybody started to call it, oh, he's ranting. No, it's not ranting. Do some people rant? Maybe, yes, some people rant, but this was not a rant. This was education. I gave reasons why. I did extensive research. I did hard work and went back and showed you and told you and gave many examples why I don't think he's the greatest fighter ever. I think he's an all-time great, but not the greatest fighter ever. Buckshot boxing. I know you're going to try to see if he really knows what he's talking about. The Fox 251. Like I was trying to tell Encore, if you compare Chavez with Mayweather's career at 140, Chavez's resume shits on it. Chavez has like 15 title defenses at 140. How many does Floyd has at 140? None. Like I said, Chavez dominated division. You know what I'm saying? He won 87 straight fights before he lost. He holds the record for 31 wins, title defense wins. Did Mayweather at any point dominate the division more than Chavez Sr.? That's all I was saying. I brought up some points in my video. Fox 251. I thought the second listed match was fixed. I mean, a lot of people say the mob has something to do with that Sonny Liston Ali fight, the second fight. We don't know if it was fixed or not. We'll never know. Moving on. The Fox 251 and Chris John, who's still fighting today. Under that logic, he must be one of the all-time greats too. I don't know what logic you're talking about. You should have been a little bit more detailed, but Chris John is a really good fighter. I don't think he's an all-time great, and I don't think the logic or the reasons I was given make him seem like he's an all-time great. But the Fox 251, and another thing about him, he's fighting guys so much bigger than him, but with the less divisions of the past, those guys fought guys who were much bigger than them too. Seven Ortega was defeated like two and Kawasaki. The Fox 251. They could have argued that Mayweather won belts in 5 divisions, but gotta consider not as many divisions were in Ray's time. Plus, Hearns did the 5 division thing already. Yes, like I was saying, in the black and white era, there was not that many belts to be had. You had a champion in a weight division, and that was it. You had 8 weight divisions back then, so you didn't have a lot of chances to win multiple belts. And a lot of fighters have won 5 titles, and 5 titles, in different divisions. The Fox 251, they tend to ignore all these accomplishments by saying, oh, they had losses. Yes, again, undefeated does not make you the greatest fighter ever. I told you, Joe Kawasaki went undefeated, Ricardo Lopez went undefeated, Rocky Marciano went undefeated. People don't consider those fighters to be the greatest fighters ever because they went undefeated. Rocky Marciano has the highest knockout percentage wins of a heavyweight, and the most wins by a heavyweight without a loss. And a lot of people don't put him over Ali. A lot of people don't put him over Joe Louis. So it's more than just being undefeated. A lot of people are so stuck on that undefeated. It doesn't matter that you're undefeated. There's a lot of other things that go into it. Haplotype 0. Lewis had to give Broderick a piece of his next 6 persons to get a title shot. Lucky Nigga Roy Jones was ranked above Mayweather for years on the pound for pound list when Floyd was more dominant at the lower weight class. That's true, because Mayweather was more dominant at the lower weight classes. Roy Jones was considered at that time to be the best fighter in the world. That is my news and notes comments. This is Boxing Talk 8576. I'm out.